Welcome, everyone. We'll be getting started in just another minute or two. If you would like to use the chat box, let us know where you're coming in from, what part of the globe. That'd be lovely. Oh, lovely. Wow. What a great representation. I'm just going to read out some of the wonderful places and welcome some of you. So welcome Antra in Spain and Nazan in Cyprus. Welcome Davika in Nottingham, England. And Jill is here from Rochester, New York. Great. Welcome Priscilla from Victoria, BC. And welcome Catherine from Kenya. And Ruthie is here from Southern Quebec. Wonderful. Welcome Dawn from New Jersey. Welcome Jillian from Idaho. And Gazella is here from Germany. Welcome. Yeah, what a great representation. Giovanna is here from New York City with a big exclamation point. And looks like Karen is here from Austin. And AZ is here from Istanbul. Fabulous. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Layla Narcy. I am here from Sugar Land, Texas, which is right outside of the Houston area, a couple of hours south of where Kristin Neff is. So we're not too far. So let's go ahead and get started. So I want to welcome you all. Welcome friends from around the world. This is such a great feeling to see so many lovely faces here. So as I mentioned, I'm Layla Narcy. I'm one of the coordinators of the CMSC Circles of Practice public offering. And this mini retreat is called Empowering Voices. This is a special mini retreat in honor of International Women's Day, which is this week. And March, as you may know, is International Women's Month. So, and I'm so honored, I'm filled with joy, really to bring you this special time for women to get together in a safe environment, practice together in this global community, feel connected and empowered. So all of those who are self-identified as female are welcome here for this special event. We do ask that you stay in loving silence and stay on mute. And then at the end of the retreat, you will have a chance to share out loud if you'd like. And then between sessions, you can also share with a chat box. So we'll have a total of 3 sessions today. So you can stay for one, you can stay for all 3. So let's begin. I just want to introduce first our speakers. So for the first session, I am just so honored. I present with a full heart our MSc co-developer, Dr. Kristin Neff, who will start the retreat. Dr. Neff is currently an associate professor of educational psychology at the University of Texas at Austin. She's a pioneer, true pioneer, no exaggeration here, in the field of self-compassion research, conducting the very first empirical studies on self-compassion nearly 20 years ago. She's been recognized as one of the most influential researchers in psychology worldwide. Dr. Neff is also the author of the best-selling book, Self-Compassion, along with her colleague, Chris Germer. They both co-developed a mindful self-compassion program, and it is taught all over the world in so many forms right now. She's also taught internationally. She's co-written the book, The Mindful Self-Compassion Workbook. Her newest book, which was released just last summer, Fierce Self-Compassion, How Women Can Harness Kindness to Speak Up, Claim Their Power, and Thrive. So if you need information on any of this, please visit her website at selfcompassion.org. So Dr. Neff will be starting with a practice for us. And then we have a very special treat. She's graciously opened to answering questions. So this is going to be really fabulous. So we'll have that in the first hour. And then our second teacher is the wonderful Natalie Bell. Natalie is the Associate Executive Director for the Center of Mindful Self-Compassion. And she's also a senior certified teacher of mindfulness and self-compassion. She oversees MSc programs for the general public and for healthcare communities. Natalie is passionately and joyfully committed to be embodying loving presence as a foundation for fierce compassion in her life. Natalie is also a good friend of mine and just a joy to listen to. And then our third and final teacher today is the wonderful Dr. Marta Alonso. Dr. Alonso is specialized in clinical psychology. She is also specialized in mindfulness and compassion treatments. She's a member of the executive board for the Center for MSC, also MSc teacher, trainer, and mentor. I think her list just keeps going on and on of all the wonderful things she does. She's been global manager since 1995 at the Center for Mindfulness and Clinical Psychology in Valencia, Spain. She is founding member of the Spanish Association of Mindfulness and Compassion and has been its president since or until 2017. So really excited to have these three powerful, wonderful women. But let's go ahead and begin with our first amazing speaker, Dr. Neff. And once again, I do ask if you would please remain in silence and then use the chat box in between sessions if you would like. So I will give the floor now to Dr. Neff.
Thanks, Layla. Thank you so much. Thank you for organizing this as well.
Yeah.
By the way, am I spotlighted? Just want to make sure
Yes.
that that's happening. Okay, because you're still spotlighted for me, but that's great. I don't like to see myself anyway when I talk. Well, thank you so much for organizing this. It just makes my heart so happy to see where almost 200 women come together, to really celebrate womanhood. As you know, my latest work is all about fierce self-compassion. And I'll just talk a little bit about it before leading my first practice. For those of you who may not know what that refers to, so compassion, when we think about compassion, we usually think of its tender form, which is warm, nurturing, caring, accepting. And compassion is also associated with the female gender role. That's why at any of the workshops I teach, about 85% of the people who show up are women, because compassion is seen as a kind of a female thing, a woman thing. And also compassion is seen as something directed toward others, but not oneself. And so although it does have this tender form, you might kind of say a prototypical mothering energy, accepting, loving, warm, people forget about the other powerful female energy, which is I call mama bear. And we all know it, whether we're mothers or not. We know the force of love, the actual power of love when it's aimed at protecting someone we love or alleviating suffering. It's not soft and wimpy. It can be incredibly powerful, incredibly brave, and incredibly courageous. Unfortunately, from my point of view, what's happened is patriarchy, power inequality, has socialized this fierceness out of women. We're allowed to do that maybe for our kids sometimes, but what we know from gender role socialization is people don't like a really powerful woman. right? A really competent woman, a woman who's really agentic. They actually have names for a woman like that. And I think the history of why that's the case is because, well, it's kept women in our places. And hopefully all the women on this call are with me and saying, no more, right? That's what the Me Too movement is. That's what the women's liberation movement is. That's about this movement for equity. We will not be silenced. We will not be harassed sexually. We will not we will not agree that our needs are less important than those of others, right? This is all a part of compassion. This is all a part of love. This is what I call fierce self-compassion, the power that stands up for justice, for equality, for protection, that says our needs are important too. And then also motivates change, right? Because although we can accept ourselves, we don't want to accept all the things in the world we live in. Global warming, power inequality, racism, sexism, there's so much that needs to be changed. And part of love is trying to alleviate suffering, which means trying to make change. Again, we are completely unconditionally worthy as we are. We don't need to change in order to be worthy. But maybe there's some behaviors that could use a little work, or again, certainly situations that need to be changed. So that's really kind of the driving energy behind my latest work, which is all about fierce self-compassion. So, and I'll talk more about it after I lead this meditation. But the opening meditation is called Fierce Friend. And what we're going to do is we are going to call up an image of a supremely powerful, fierce, loving, compassionate being who's going to come to us, and we might even have a little dialogue. It's really more of a guided visualization than a meditation. Okay, it'll take about maybe 20 to 30 minutes. So please sit in a posture that you can hold comfortably for 20 or 30 minutes. It helps to have your legs uncrossed, touching the floor. Right, and back straight, and really try to hold your back in a way that embodies this power, this grace. Right? So you may be tired, so you can lean against the back of your chair, but really feel the energy rising up your spine. Let your body posture express this kind of powerful, caring force. And then closing your eyes. All right, and just take a few deep breaths. And let your breathing return to normal. And I'd invite you to feel your own presence, your own aliveness. See if you can actually tap into the energy that's flowing through your body right now. Right, so we're trying to cultivate a particular type of energy, a powerful energy, but also one that is loving, caring. So what I'd invite you to do is see if you can put a fist over your heart with either your left or right hand, whatever feels more comfortable. Not a tight fist, but a fist that symbolizes strength and courage. And place it right over the center of your chest. Right, you might notice as you do that, you roll your shoulders back a little bit to really embody this noble stance of courage, bravery, strength. And then place your other hand over your fist, right? This is the hand, the gentle hand of love and acceptance and tenderness. And the invitation is to allow these two energies, the fierce and the tender, to mix, to mingle, to merge and integrate inside of you. Strength with love. Joan Halifax refers to this as strong back, soft front. And this is the essence of the feminine. And so you can return your hands down to your lap for the meditation, or you can keep them here if you like. But if ever you feel a little disconnected, know that you can always adopt this fist with hand gesture, the strength with love gesture to kind of reconnect you to the energy that we're looking to cultivate. Okay, and so now what I would invite you to do is to imagine yourself in a place that feels very safe, very secure, but very comfortable as well, and beautiful. So maybe this is a cozy living room with a fire crackling, with beautiful surroundings where you feel safe and protected, warm, at ease. Or maybe you're outside, maybe you're on a beach with the waves, the powerful ocean, the waves of the powerful ocean crashing, a warm sun on your face, a cool breeze. Or maybe you're in the forest, maybe among these big, giant redwood trees. Again, a symbolic representation of the feminine, these giant, strong trees, feeling safe and protected. Or coming up with any image that works for you. Again, so what we're looking for is feeling ourselves in a place where we feel safe, protected, and at ease. And allow yourself really just to soak in the environment. Let yourself be held by this safe, beautiful place that you're in. And also make sure you include yourself in this image, right? And notice how are you standing? Are you sitting? Maybe you're in a meditation pose. Maybe you're on a chair. Maybe you're lying in a hammock, whatever feels right. So imagine yourself in this safe place. And soon you're going to receive a visitor, right? A visitor that I'm going to call your fierce friend, your fierce friend. This is someone who's very strong, very powerful, very wise. And yet is also incredibly tender and loving and caring. Right? A being who really embodies the fierce and the tender, mother and mama bear, protective and with intention, type of force that's really caring, that's aimed directly at the alleviation of suffering. Right. And so when you think of this fierce friend, what image arises for you? Maybe it actually, maybe your friend resembles someone that you've known. Maybe you've been fortunate enough to have a grandmother or someone in your life, an actual friend who really embodied these qualities of fierceness and tenderness, strength, love, protection. Right. Or maybe it's someone from your imagination, like a warrior goddess, or a leopard, or a jaguar, a big cat, also embodies this feminine, fierce energy. Doesn't have to be female either. It could be any gender, any animal form, human form. It could be completely mythic or real. Just see if you can don't overthink it if you can. Just see what image arises from the depth of your being of a fierce, powerful, loving, protective friend and ally. And you're going to meet with your friend. And so you have a choice. Either you can go out of your safe place to meet your friend, or you can invite them in. It's really just whatever feels safest and most comfortable to you. But I'd invite you to imagine meeting with your friend. So again, imagining yourself and this amazing being. Just the right distance. It feels comfortable. Allowing yourself to really experience the energy, the power, the love of this friend. Right? There's nothing you need to do for this moment. Just allow yourself to soak it in. Soak in the radiance of this fierce and compassionate being. And this fierce friend, knows you, right? Maybe you don't know that you've met before. Maybe you have met before, but regardless, this being, imagine that they're all knowing, right? Knows your history, how you were raised, what you've gone through, the challenges you've had in your life. What you're going through now. Right? And can hold it all with just such tremendous compassion and wisdom. truly loves you just as you are. Strengths and weaknesses, successes and failures. And your friend also knows those areas of your life where maybe it's really good for you to speak up or to assert yourself or to draw boundaries or maybe take a risk, be brave. Right? And so your friend would like to tell you something, which is exactly what you need to hear right now so that you can fully embody your own fierce and tender self, so that you can really become everything that you are, realize your potential, blossom. Your friend has such confidence in you. But of course, also wants you to be safe, doesn't want you to do anything that is potentially harmful, right? So it may not look the way you think it looks, this advice from your friend. It's really about what you need to hear to be safe, but also, to be your full, fierce self. And you might even imagine having a conversation with your fierce friend, right? You can express your concerns, your worries, maybe your excitement. Right? And know that you will be listened to, taken seriously, validated. But most of all, protected. Your fierce friend wants to protect you, make sure that you are safe and that you are well and happy. Your friend may also want to give you a gift, some sort of symbolic gift, maybe just materializes in your hand, something that really symbolizes this caring force, this tender fierceness, something you can keep with you at all times. Does anything appear? And if no words or no gift appears, that's completely fine too. Maybe the gift is simply the presence of your fierce friend. So give yourself just a few more moments to really bask in this presence, this strength, this power. And now I would invite you to recognize that your fierce friend actually lies within you. Right? This came from your own imagination. Everything you felt, this power, this energy, this love, this protection, this came from you. Right? Your fierce friend lies within. This is an energy that you can access anytime you need to. You just have to intentionally call upon it. And it will be here for you. Just like a good friend. And so now allowing the image to fade away. And while keeping your eyes closed, just come back to your own body in the here and now. So just feeling your body, maybe feeling the residue of that visualization in your body. Feeling your own presence. And once again, just remembering you can call on this part of yourself, your fierce friend, whenever you need. And then when you're ready, slowly opening your eyes.
Thank you so much, Kristin. That was so beautiful. Just what I needed today. And really, thank you so much for agreeing to answer some questions for us. So the first question I've got is, how does this fierce friend practice fit into the whole model of mindful self-compassion?
Yeah, so we're actually, for those of you who are interested, we're actually developing a secondary course that comes after mindful self-compassion, the basic course that focuses more on this fierce side of self-compassion. And the reason it's a secondary course is because really, in many ways, the foundation is the tender acceptance. Because if you don't accept yourself, if you feel unworthy, if you don't feel worthy even of kindness, you aren't going to feel worthy of protection either, right? And also, the fierce stuff can get into things like anger and really, stuff that's a little more challenging, a little more activating. So I think we really do need the foundation, the basis of the core self-compassion skills first. At least it's helpful. You don't have to, but I think it's helpful. So that there is some fierceness kind of sprinkled through the mindful self-compassion program, but we're going to make it much more explicit. Actually, Natalie, who's going to be talking to you later, and Laylee, you as well, have been working on this, trying to develop a full 8-week course that's focused specifically on developing these skills.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you. So here's a question that's a little bit more in depth. So most women think about compassion as being tender and soft.
Yes.
And this is also, expectations of a lot of families,
Yes.
cultures, societies, right?
Yes.
Often where they're imposed on us.
Yes.
And it's really where we're asked to be soft and kind and understanding, supportive, maybe even obedient at work, at home.
Yes.
However, that's limiting us, right?
Yes.
And it's really keeping us from fully and deeply being this person that we may be and
Yes.
getting our voices out. So, how can self compassion help us to really transcend some of these expectations?
Well, it's absolutely key, right? And so if this happens in every culture, some cultures more than others. And so I'm just going to say it. There's a reason gender role socialization socializes women to be this way. It's power inequality, right? So I'm just, you may not agree with me, but I'm just going to say it, right? We have to recognize where this comes from. Now, not saying that there isn't a tremendous beauty and value to this tenderness, this nurturing, right? The ability to raise our children, to do this with our friends, our loved ones, our partners. It's beautiful. It is essential, but it can't be the only energy. I talk about balance between yin and yang. So tenderness without fierceness can become complacent or subordinate, right? Also, but fierceness without tenderness, which I have to say is most males have been socialized to be, can be aggressive, right? It can be like, just exploitative as well. So we really need balance. So what to do about this? Okay, so you may agree with this, but what to do about it? Well, and this is an important question because I would like to say everyone just speak up and, protest and all that, but actually it may not be safe. The bottom line of self-compassion is safety, and we need to be wise about it. So if we're going to get a lot of backlash, we're going to lose our jobs, or we're going to, be cut off from our families, we don't want to just speak out in a way that's going to actually end up harming us. What we do need to do, though, however, is internally understand what's what. Okay, because so much of sexism is internalized. We go along with it, we believe it, we project it onto other women. So if we know internally that we have every right, that our needs count too, that we have the right to be treated with respect, that we do have this fierce, powerful energy, then, at least we start here, and then we can start to change things externally, in a wise way, right? So in some countries, so if you look at the Me Too movement, for years and years, I think maybe we just weren't ready to have it. And then for whatever reason, the cultural conditions shifted so that we could have the Me Too movement, and really powerful men were being brought down as women said, it's not okay. It can't happen anymore. No. And for whatever reason, the culture was in the right place. That could happen. And there may be other places where it couldn't. So again, I'm not saying, lose your job or have your family cut you off. That's not safe. And that's actually not self-compassionate. But yeah, so really starting with yourself, understanding that you have every single right to speak up, that your voice counts, that your voice matters, that your needs count, and then just doing what you can with wisdom. I mean, wisdom is a huge part of this. Doing what you can with wisdom to change the things you can. How you raise your daughters, how you raise your sons, if you're a parent, is one way you can try to affect small scale change if large scale change isn't possible. But I don't know, I think women around the world, we're in a new place. Partly, I think, because we saw the success of the Me Too movement. I think things are changing. They may not change as quickly as we want. But what's really key is that we band together. If you look at the gender role socialization literature, women are even more powerful enforcers of the gender norms that women should be tender, not fierce, than men are. Women are especially likely to dislike fierce, powerful women. Why? Because we've internalized this idea that, well, that's not what a real woman should be like. So a big part of it is women with other women trying to say, hey, this isn't right, it's not true, starting to change things kind of among women. And then I think if you look at all the big social movements, they come from women banding together. There's a reason we call it Me Too, Me Too, or Black Lives Matter, or any big social movement comes from solidarity with other people. So we aren't an isolated single individual. So I could go on and on, but those are some of my thoughts on it. It's a complex question. But the bottom line, I want to say one more thing. Another thing, this is actually what tender self-compassion gives you. People won't like you as much if you're fierce. I'm pretty fierce. And sometimes people don't like me for it. I'm just going to say it. It actually got me into trouble at work. I mean, luckily I had enough other stuff going for me that it was okay. But we can't pretend that everyone's just going to love it. And you think, oh, that's great. Some people may call you the B word or not like your fierce energy. But what my self-compassion practice gave me is I like myself. I'm not dependent on other people liking me for my sense of self-worth. My sense of self-worth comes from the inside. My sense of self-worth comes from self-compassion, unconditional self-acceptance. And the more you can give yourself unconditional self-acceptance, the more you can take risks and not care so much about whether or not other people like you. Again, within reason. You don't want to alienate all your friends and family. You need wisdom in this. But yeah, there may be some backlash. And, I think if we're going to be agents of change, we have to be willing to take some backlash. And that's all I'll say on that topic. That's a lot.
Actually, I was going to ask you another question.
Feel free to add into this, Layla. I mean, my opinion isn't more valid than anyone else's. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this was really beautiful. And you gave us so many examples of how to really take this into a societal way, into a cultural way, and make cultural changes, right? So what about if we kind of step back a little? What are some ways that we individually can empower our voices with balance of fierce and tender?
Yeah, well,
so they're really doing this like in daily life.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of practices that I developed. It's in my book, Fierce Self-Compassion. We'll do some more in the 8-week protocol. But it does take some intention, right? Because again, we've been socialized just for the tender. And it can feel really uncomfortable. For instance, being comfortable with anger take some work. Being comfortable with this real powerful energy. Some people just, I think maybe for whatever reason, have a little more of one than the other. I do think we need to intentionally cultivate balance, but paying attention to it, asking yourself, what do I need right now? And actually, sometimes maybe we need to draw a boundary, or we need to say no, or we need to speak up. But if you don't ask yourself what you need, you'll never even begin to answer the question if you don't even ask it first.
Yeah.
So there are things you can do, like
what we need first.
Yeah, like body posture, touch, words. If any words of like kind of strength came up from your fierce friend, you can cultivate words, encouragement. You might think, what would I say to my daughter if she said she was being picked on at school? Right? Something like that. There are ways we can access this kind of mama bear energy, but we may have to do it a little intentionally.
And then, so asking ourselves, what would I say to my daughter? What would I say to someone I really care about?
Yes.
And then turning it and applying it to myself.
Yes. Because we do have access to mama bear. I mean, it's been socialized out of us, but there are contexts when you want to see a force of nature, you see a mother protecting her children, and that's kind of the one context when we've been allowed to keep this fierceness, and we have access to it. And so in a way, self-compassion is a type of reparenting ourselves. And it's not just the tender nurturing. It is that. And it is also that fierce, powerful, protective energy as well. So, and again, this is whether or not we have actual children. This is just, I think, an energy that's, I think it's in all people, but because this is a gathering of women, I'm going to talk about people who identify as women, because it is there in gender role socialization in that one specific context of mama bear. So it's something that we can have access to.
Yeah, and really apply it to our own selves individually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And could you speak to the different types of fierceness? For example, the motivating and so forth.
Yes. Well, so there are at least 3 types. There are probably a lot more. So tender self-compassion is more one energy because it's about acceptance. It's more like mindfulness. It's just kind of this accepting of ourselves and the present moment experience. Again, even if things need change, we have to accept the fact that it is the way it is, even if actually before we can make change. So that's more the stillness, the acceptance. But then the fierce energy is taking action. And so there's at least 3 ways, but again, there's probably infinite ways you can take action to alleviate suffering. So one is protection, drawing boundaries, saying no, standing up for yourself. One is meeting our own needs. So, my research, I find women have slightly less self-compassion than men, even though they've got more compassion than others than men. Because we've been told that we're only valuable if we sacrifice ourselves. A good woman sacrifices herself as if somehow our needs don't count. So taking action to meet our needs, not over others. It's not like being selfish. It's just saying, I count too. And as a matter of fact, I can't continue to give if I don't replenish my own needs as well. So meeting our own needs and then motivating change. Absolutely key. If we're going to alleviate suffering, there's a lot that needs to change. So again, we are unconditionally worthy of kindness, compassion, and concern as we are, broken, flawed, wherever we are, the mess that we are. And if we care, we're going to try to do what we can to help change things in a way that's healthier. Behaviors and situations, our intrinsic worth, it's intrinsically worthy. What can I say? If that makes sense.
Yeah. And we don't have to say I'm worthy because XYZ.
Exactly.
I am worthy, period.
Yeah. I'm not worthy because people like me or because I look a certain way or because I've achieved a certain thing, which most people actually is very common. That's really more self-esteem. My self-esteem is dependent on being popular or looking a certain way or again, success. It's a fair weather friend. Self-esteem is a fair weather friend. This is an unconditional friend there for you in good times and in bad, and really who has your back, which also means saying no, drawing boundaries, and standing up for yourself.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. And I know there's been so many things popping up in the chat here.
And by the way, I would love women just to sit around in circles and just talk about this stuff because we all have experiences with what happens when you show your fierce side. How do people react? What's allowed, what's not allowed. This is a cultural conversation we need to be having.
I love what you just said. This is a cultural conversation we need to be having, but this is also something we can sit around our dining table. We can sit at the coffee shop and do.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Starting with me, but also our whole culture.
Our friends.
That's how we do our change, right? Social change, personal change starts in community, starts with conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And I really appreciate you starting this conversation for us today. This is really beautiful. And I know our time is up for this session, but I really, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank you, Kristin. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. And I know there's been so many people in the chat also offering their gratitude.
I wish I could look at all the comments and answer them all, but and thank you so much for gathering all the women on this call. It's just, again, it's really important that we come together in community.
Yeah, and I really want to thank you as well for doing the Fierce Compassion course. I think it's so absolutely needed. And all the ways that you've been a role model to so many of us. So thank you.
Well, what I can really model is being a mess.
Perfect.
If anyone falls into the illusion that somehow I got all my, what together, don't fall into that trap. I'm still as much of a mess as I ever was, but I'm a compassionate mess, right? So I've learned to hold the failures and the mistakes and all of it with compassion. And it's enough. It really is enough.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Yeah. And that acceptance of being, I'm a compassionate mess and I'm enough.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So
wonderful.
I do need to go,
Thank
but
you so much.
Have a wonderful retreat day. Thank you, Leila.
Thank you, Kristin. Thank you so much. And I just want to share with everyone, we're going to take about a 10-minute break. So please, take good care of yourself. Take a bio break if you'd like, and then we are going to continue some more work with fierce self-compassion with the wonderful Natalie Bell.
Welcome, everyone. So good to see you. If you can hear my voice, we are coming back to the retreat. Such an honor to be here. So I'll just take the next 30 seconds or so to let everyone else arrive. Okay, so I see more and more of you here. Welcome, all of you. I'm Natalie Bell. Great to have you here, Layla. Thank you for inviting me to this retreat in celebration of women's history, women's empowerment, women's achievements. And I just want to say, in some way, I want to see if I can encourage us to arrive just as we are. And really see if in our session together we can connect with ourselves just as we're showing up this morning or this afternoon or this evening, depending on where you are in the world. And part of doing that is to also incorporate a sense of embodied, tender, and fierce self-compassion. So today, I'm going to be guiding us in a practice of breathing yin and yang, and we're going to truly create first a foundation for tender compassion, and then see if we can draw in our own fierceness. But before we do that, I'm going to invite us to do a few different things. First of all, saying too that in honor of Women's Day, imagining that we could really have a world that is free of bias. This is why we are having to put so much energy into gender equality, right? A world free of stereotypes, free of discrimination, a world that's diverse and equitable, inclusive. And that inclusivity really includes the deepest, most close and intimate parts of ourselves, the difficult parts, the difficult emotions. And this is where mindful self-compassion is such a great ally for us, that we can tend to ourselves as we are. So, and also just imagining a world where difference is valued, but also our common humanity is truly, truly celebrated. So in celebrating women's achievement, our gifts, our capacities, we're going to do this today by raising awareness inside of ourselves, this awareness of our own qualities of tender compassion and fierce compassion. And one of the first things I want to do, because maybe you've been sitting already a long time, or you're just waking up like I am here on the West Coast. I'm in Los Angeles, California. And I'd love for us to really bring in a sense of embodied presence. So I'm going to do a few minutes of some physical activity. You can do this sitting down. You can do this standing up. I'm going to invite you, if you can, to actually stand here. And we're going to draw in our own presence through the body. And some of you might ask, how important this is in a retreat to do. And one of the things we're going to be doing as we embody compassion today is to see how much the body responds and is really holding our experience moment by moment. And here in our bodies, we can tend, we can cultivate, we can grow a foundation and a power for compassion. So I'm really going to do this. One of my favorite physical practices that incorporates our own energetic awareness, called radiant body breathing. And this is from a beloved teacher, Tisha Bell. We're just going to do a few rounds if we can. And if you're seated, you can just make some room for your arms if possible. And so we're just going to begin by taking a deep breath and bringing arms out to the side and up, palms up towards the ceiling, breathing in. And then facing your palms towards yourself, just gently coming down, breathing out. In this radiant body breathing, we're going to continue with a few rounds, bringing arms up out to the side and palms up towards the sky, breathing in and breathing out, hands towards your body. Starting to feel as you bring your arms out again, breathing in, that you're calling in nourishment, energy. And as you breathe out, you're simply smoothing and cultivating a sense of presence, welcoming your own energy here. This kind of centering practice. One more round, bringing arms up, out to the side, up, palms towards the sky. And coming down, smoothing energy, centering, grounding. And let's start also then by, as you bring your arms out, we're going to go in the opposite direction now to open up the central channel. So we're going to come in the opposite direction. You're going to bring your palms together and you're going to come up the center channel all the way up over your head and out to the side. And find your own breathing pattern, what works for you. You may breathe in here, opening, extending, breathing out. See if you can feel your own energy centering and collecting. And come up again through the central channel, connecting energies so that we feel this kind of centering presence flowing openly through the body, and also connecting to our environment. Just opening this channel to feel our own presence. One more round coming up. And out. And then we're just going to do on this final movement, this integrating breath. So we're going to bring the hands together again and out to the side, breathing up. And then hands facing down towards the earth. Knees bending slightly, just bringing down, centering presence, grounding. One more time, again, up. Hands down and integrating energies. One more time. And we'll finish coming up and down to the earth, feeling yourself connected there. Thank you for doing this practice. And as we're standing, just see if you need anything right now, because we're having this opportunity to really connect in an embodied way today. So encouraging some gentle movements, if you wish, at the shoulders, elbows, wrists, hands. Oh, and letting yourself breathe through whatever is here right now. I notice some maybe gentle movement side to side. And then while you're up here, see your space, see where you are. So we're going to remind ourselves of our physical bodies and our physical needs here. And in this moment, I'm also going to see if we can connect into some embodied gestures for self-compassion. Some of you have done this before. I invite you to bring a beginner's mind to this moment so that before we do our seated practice, we're going to connect with this sense of connecting to our bodies feeling compassion that is tender and fierce. And we're going to do just a few of these before we sit. So I invite you to offer one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Giving yourself room to, please know, this is a gesture of soothing touch. Some of us are more comfortable with our bodies. If there's a better place for you, you may choose simply the hands on the heart or a self-embrace. Making room for yourself. This is you and your connection to your body, yourself, your own presence. And see if you can feel what this gesture is doing for you. This connection to your own intention for kindness, for support, for encouragement. We draw on the tender sides of compassion, even the quality of caring and comforting, soothing. So today we're going to allow this tender compassion to be a base, really a foundation. Just allowing yourself to draw in a deeper breath or two of care. And then let's see if we can shift a bit. You may try offering a fist on the heart and a hand over that fist. We're going to feel the energy of fierce self-compassion by this. And you might offer the fist on the heart, or you might even offer that over your belly, maybe the hand on the heart. Fist over the belly. Maybe the hands get drawn to the belly so the fist is there. So for some of us, this feels like a strength or a symbol of strong support. For some of us, it doesn't feel that way. So please give yourself room to feel what's right for you. So back, if you're feeling this gesture of strength, what would that be like for you? For some of us, it's even the self-embrace, like, I've got you, right? Just noticing what this feels like in your body. And then we're going to just shift for two more gestures, seeing if you can feel yourself centered in your body. So you're going to have your feet about shoulder width apart, feeling that stability as if you were in a horse stance. So knees slightly bent. Deep breath of centering. And if you could, draw your hands out as if in a circle around you. To feeling this energy within you, creating a kind of protective space. And this may be that you have this ability to feel your own energy and your own sense of creating any boundaries that are needed. So you might even look left and right. And you may offer this gesture of bringing your hands out like this to create that sense of protection as you need. Sometimes this is more of a fierce no or no. We may say, this is my energy, or this is my power. So just feeling that. Again, it could be even a gentle space here, or a more fierce movement out. We may also provide for ourselves and bring our arms in and say yes. So fierce self-compassion offers this ability to not only protect and create boundaries, but also to provide for ourselves. You may feel a nice in-breath with this gesture. Yes, giving myself what I need right now, making room for myself right now. And then we can also motivate ourselves. So we may exaggerate the gestures and say, I can do this. Or with one hand, I can do this. I can do it. I can feel myself doing this. I've got you. For some of us, it's bringing the fist down. I've got you. Yes, I see some of you really just finding your way with this. We might say, yes, yes, yes. What are you feeling in your body? Noticing that. Noticing these energies. Okay, so we've made the round from tender to fierce qualities. And let's just see if we can now shake a bit, move that energy. And you're going to come back now to a seated posture. And one of the reasons why I started today with this kind of movement and sensing into energies is a lot of times we feel, particularly today, disconnected from our bodies, and as if we could simply think our way through what's happening in our experience, and we might use compassion to just inwardly either offer kind words and kind thoughts, kind emotions of compassion, comforting, soothing, caring. But often we need to include our body, right? Every day, every moment. So we do this by connecting here, and we're going to do that in the practice today. But first, I want to talk about too, tender and fierce. You know, today we're celebrating us as women. We're celebrating in a world that is in constant change. And today we need our capacities more than ever before. So what does it really take to empower our voices? It really does take this tender compassion, a kind, caring stance towards ourselves that is validating. As Kristin said, can we be a compassionate mess and still be okay with ourselves? How do we do that? And how do I hold myself if I want to empower my voice when it feels a bit risky? So can I first cultivate that sense of caring, kind, understanding, loving presence? We know as women, we already do that for others. This is innate. This is something that is also culturally trained. We care for our loved ones. We are often thinking outwardly all the time for others. In fact, for many of us, it feels like often I don't matter, or I'm not included in caring, because my first thought is that I must take care of all others, kids, loved ones, the community. I must serve. In fact, we know that our culture often gives us the greatest praise if we are selfless, as Kristin said, right? We know this personally. The more selfless I am, the more I'll be seen as a hero. But what happens in all of those hours and days and years of selflessness is we feel burnt out. we feel like we don't even know how to care. And so in tender self-compassion, we learn to join the circle of compassion, that when I'm caring, I can also be included. So when I'm loving, might I think that I too can feel this loving energy that is coming through me in my body and in my mind. But it is for me too. In self-compassion training, we talk about offering this simple U-turn. In other words, can I give the same care and love and room that I give for others? Can I offer that for myself? Maybe today you woke up and you were tired. I know I had a pretty tough week myself. And I thought this morning, like, what do I really need, right? What do I really need if I'm tired? Can I validate that for myself first? Can I help myself knowing that? So I'm going to validate that for myself with mindfulness, right? I'm going to see that clearly. And then can I also understand that I'm not alone? As women in particular, many of us are tired, right? I mean, can we honor that we work so hard for others, that we work so hard for our families, and that here we've gathered today to share in our validation how we're showing up right now. And for me, common humanity, as for you too, I hope gives you that sense that, you know, we're all trying so hard in this human condition. And that together, even though we are so often outwardly giving, that we join literally in this circle together, and we can feel like we're literally turning our hearts and minds towards ourselves for care. And that means also for care and acceptance of the hardest parts, when I'm not feeling great, when I'm feeling down, when I don't feel confident. What do we do? How do we empower ourselves when we don't feel confident? Can I simply validate that again? Wow, right now I'm feeling unsteady, unsure, and that's normal. This too, I can see is a part of me, and yet it's only a part. So I'm going to make room in common humanity, right? We're going to keep making room for ourselves to be who we are and not have to push any part away at all. And then, can we offer ourselves the kindness and the tenderness first as a foundation for fierceness? So can I keep feeling that deep core of my heart's intention for kindness, even when it's hard to be kind to myself? Can I connect deeply with this intention? You know, it's said that the more training you get in self-compassion, the more advanced you get in self-compassion, what's actually happening is that your intention is stronger. Even if your life is a mess, even if you feel like a compassionate mess, or you may not know what it means to be a compassionate mess, you just know that you're a mess. And so compassion allows us to be who we are authentically by making room in common humanity, validating, sharing in this community that we are, knowing our struggles, and then connecting with our heart's deep intention. May I be kind to myself. May I be here for myself, even if I'm struggling to do that right now. My intention is still there. Can I breathe that in for myself? And in that validation, I start to feel a true sense of connection to a resource inside of me. I start to feel more resourced. And here, I feel my feet on the ground. I feel myself more connected. And from this place, I can begin to empower myself with fierce compassion, with a sense that I can stand up for myself. I can speak up. I can say no. I can say, wait, let me speak. I can say, I'm here for myself. I can be here for myself. Or maybe I can notice right now where I can breathe in right now. In this moment, I can just make that shift right now. Let this moment be for me so that I am putting on the oxygen mask first for myself and then for others as I need to, as I wish to. And I can motivate myself. I can say, you know what? Somewhere I'm going to take the voice of all of those that I've ever heard before, my mentors, my champions, the coaches, the people in my life, maybe at least one person who helped me along the way. And I'm going to take that for my own to motivate myself. I'm going to say, you know what, Natalie, I have got you. And you know what, no matter what you're feeling right now, I'll be here for you. We can try. We can do this. And even if I'm doubting, even if I'm scared, even if I'm unsure, which probably I am, I'm still going to be here. And even if I fall down, because then what? I'm going to hold myself tenderly again. And this is where the dance of tender and fierce comes into play, right? One cannot live without the other, truly, truly. So we keep coming back. Yeah, how can I help myself now? Even when I've retreated or I feel myself hiding a bit. I feel myself unsure. Because every day, this is what we are experiencing, truly, truly, truly. And right now, if you're noticing that some of this is resonating, see if you can make room for yourself, for how you've shown up this moment, today. So we're going to move into a practice called breathing yin and yang. And this will be a practice using the breath and using the energies in our body. But what's going to happen, as in all meditations, is, thoughts are going to come. We're going to get distracted and the mind will wander. We may notice doubts or other worries from our lives surfacing. And in those moments, seeing if you can hold yourself with that tenderness, we're going to begin with the kind of yang or fierce qualities, and we're going to open up to the soft, tender qualities too. But knowing that at any moment you're going to be able to shift and reconnect with these two qualities, with whatever is arising, right? And then we're going to have some space, some quiet time inside of the practice. And let that be a time for you to give yourself what you need. And as Kristin labeled this, caring force. I love this idea that we can be a center of caring force, right? Remembering these phrases like, I'm here to support you. We can do this together. And I'd also like us to imagine in our practice today that we're doing this in a circle, in our women's circle, in our community, together, right? So inviting you to offer this practice, breathing yin and yang. If you wish to lie down, please know you can do that. Feel free to be off camera, to get supports. Make yourself as comfortable as possible. Just knowing that you can also shift as you need. If you need to move in the middle of the meditation, please pay attention to your physical body. If you ever need to pause out of this practice, open your eyes, know that you can do that at any moment. So please take good care of yourself. All right, and so we're going to start this practice by getting into a posture that feels supported. In Fierce Friend, Kristin just led that practice. She offered a sense of finding this empowered posture and even sitting up as straight as you can, but just finding the dignity of your own presence in your body. So again, if you're seated, allowing your back to be relatively straight, you might even tuck your chin a bit, imagining that there is this kind of plumb line up through your spine and through the crown of your head all the way up towards the sky. So feeling that alignment of your body. And just taking maybe a few deeper breaths to help yourself to settle into your body now. So again, you're reconnecting. If you've lost a sense of your body, you might even offer a little bit of movement as you settle into your posture. All right, so allowing your eyes to close either fully or partially. And let's begin with a gesture of welcome inside. So see if you can even turn towards yourself with this welcoming gesture. Maybe it's an inner nod of recognition, a smile through the eyes, and seeing if we might begin with a gesture of soothing, supportive touch. So putting your hands, maybe just one on the heart and one hand on your solar plexus. That's just right above the navel. This is considered your power center or energetic center for some. And feel your posture now. Feel yourself embodied with a sense of, again, that sense of dignity, sense of embodied presence. I'm going to be drawing in the energies of both yin and yang, compassion, this kind of idea of bringing in tender qualities and strong, fierce qualities of energy, of intention through our bodies, our hearts and minds. Until you can let go of the gestures to your body and let your hands rest as you wish. And just beginning to start to notice your breathing. Just the natural flow of the breath as it is. There's no need to control the breath, just allowing yourself to turn towards the breath with a inclination towards the breath with kindness, as if inclining towards a good friend. That sense of curiosity, tenderness. If you prefer to use the focus in your whole body, feeling your whole body breathing. You may offer attention towards that feeling. And again, during this meditation, your mind will naturally wander at times. And when it does, just bringing your attention gently back to the breath without judgment, just coming back to your body. And then starting to focus now on your in-breath, specifically feeling each inhalation. And as you breathe in, imagine that you are breathing in the qualities of fierce yang compassion. This may be symbolized by energy, breathing in a sense of energizing, strengthening, empowering. You may even visualize this in-breath as a glowing light entering your body and energizing the cells of your body. So this may feel, of course, more intentional, and that's okay. So just noticing that you are drawing the breath in a bit, receiving for yourself this yang energy. As we breathe in, the body naturally activates this energizing quality in our bodies. And if you can, feel the energy of this fierce yang, compassion moving through your body, perhaps through your spine, flowing through the breath. Feeling your whole body breathing with this quality of energizing and awakening. And this yang energy is here to support you. The energy that says, I'm right here. I've got you. And once more, feeling this yang energy moving through your body as you breathe in. And then taking a big, deeper breath and just holding it in for a few seconds. Holding it, holding it. And then releasing that energy. I'm going to be shifting towards the yang energy, and see if you can begin this by bringing your hands to your heart or some other soothing or comforting place on your body. Reconnecting with this tender quality of compassion once more. Maybe it is that one or two hands on the heart. It could be a hand on the heart and a hand cupping your face, maybe just tenderly offering that support of soothing, comforting. This energy says, I see you and I'm here for you. I care for you. And you can stay with this gesture of soothing touch if you wish, or you can let your hands rest. We're going to begin focusing now on the out breath, on the gentle exhalation, just the ease of exhalation. So feeling yourself relaxing with each out breath. As you exhale, let go and let be. With each out breath, imagine that tender yin compassion is flowing through you. Letting it nurture you as you release. Breathing out. This caring, tender quality of energy. This kind of smoothing, softening energy. For some of us, it may feel natural to breathe in and out this energy, feeling free to offer that. And you may even imagine as you breathe out this yin energy, visualizing it as a golden light moving through your body and out through your body, outward, exhaling. Letting your body be a channel for yin, tender compassion right now. Once again, feeling that yin, tender energy, each exhalation moving through your body. And then once more, taking a deeper, bigger breath in, holding it for a few seconds. And then releasing the breath. And then beginning now to bring both yin and yang together. Coming back to your body and putting one hand on your heart again, putting one hand on your solar plexus if that feels right to you, or some other place on your body. And as you breathe in, imagine that you are breathing in that fierce yang energy. As you breathe out, imagine that you are breathing tender yin energy, allowing these two energies to flow freely in your body, merging and integrating. And adjusting what feels right to you. Some of you may feel like you're breathing in the yin qualities and breathing out the yang, just doing what's right for you. Feeling the energies of fierce and tender. Breathing in the fierce and breathing out the tender. Feeling this through your body in a way that is supportive, offering these attitudes. I'm here for you, supporting you, got you. I care about you. Again, allowing this visualization of this golden light, if that's helpful for you, moving through your body with this yang and yin energies. Moving through the channel of your body energetically. And in these last 2 minutes of the meditation, Just noticing what's here for you as you feel these energies moving through your body. There may be thoughts coming and going. See if you can incorporate what is here right now by giving yourself what you need in response, offering that tender, caring quality, validating how you are in this moment with kindness. Responding to what's here with a sense of true support. I'm here for you. Giving yourself what you need, providing with fierce compassion. I've got you. I'll be here for you no matter what. Once more, feeling that energy moving through your body, through the inhalation and the exhalation. And then once more, taking a deeper breath in, holding it for a few moments. Breathing out gently. And then on these next few moments, gently releasing this practice. Taking your time to come out of this breathing yin and yang energy. And seeing if you can just take these few moments as you come out of the practice to honor where you've been, to honor what's here right now for you, whatever is here for you, and whatever happened in this meditation today, making room for yourself. We can be who we are and hold ourselves with kindness and strength in our circle together. Thank you so much for being in this space with me. May our shared commitment to compassion in ourselves and in the world carry us forward. May the energies of your own practice carry you today too. So many, many thanks. Bring it over to Layla. Many thanks, Layla. Truly, thank you.
Thank you so much, Natalie. That was really beautiful. Thank you. So we'll take a couple of minutes break, and then our final speaker, Dr. Marta Alonso, will be taking over. Okay, so we will be starting now with Marta Alonso. Thank you, Marta, for being here.
Thank you so much, Laila. Thank you so much, all this amazing group of sisters. And well, especially thank you to the CMSC Circles of Practice, and also to my friends, Kristin and Natalie, for guiding us in these 2 first hours. So I think we should start with a small soft landing. So let's begin silently setting an intention for yourself. To be open and curious about what comes up and receiving what arises with equanimity. You may sit or stand comfortably. Just allowing whichever position you choose to let you feel both alert and relaxed. And once you are settled, close your eyes or soften your gaze and tune into your breath. Noticing your breath without trying to change it. Perhaps listening to sounds. Finding your own body in your mind's eye. And offering yourself a smile of welcome. Welcome again to this brave space. Bringing your attention to your heart region. And maybe even putting a hand over your heart if it feels right. Maybe asking yourself, how does it feel to place my hands over this tender area, this place where I experience love, love for self and others. and acknowledging the courage that brings you here today. Acknowledging that compassion that also brings you here today. Compassion for yourself. Compassion for all women in the world. Compassion for all living beings. Such big is our heart. So, hi again to everybody. I would like to give you a little talk about owning, as women, our spirituality. I am a white woman, educated in a monotheistic religion, Christianity, and for that place, I think, write, act, and fight against one of the most oppressive systems for women, the spiritual patriarchy. So historically, from the 4th century AD, with the Christianization of the Roman Empire, masculine monotheism triumphed, which needed to stand. A negative meaning of femininity, in particular of femininity linked to any type of power. And so the female divinities and the role of women in religious rites ceased to be symbols of our moral authority, to become witchcraft, sorcery, paganism, heresy. Well, everybody knows the witch hunt carried out by the church. That is a key episode in the history of women. And with a hegemonic masculine divinity, it has also been possible to ratify violent acts towards women in order to achieve complete submission to the mandates of the Pope, the priest, the pastor, the spiritual teacher, the husband. And however, women are the ones who fill the churches, at least in the Latin countries. And without them, the churches would be empty. But despite everything, in most religions, their positions are legal, recognized. Decisions are made by male ecclesiastics or male spiritual teachers. And over time, I had become aware that the religious space is just another place where gender inequality is reproduced despite the spiritual values. So today, I identify myself with being eco-feminist, reinterpreting myself in my relationship with the earth, with the cosmos, with the different women roles, in the way that I can rename or reimagine a God who represents the values of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, and who has no gender. I'm seeking a healing spirituality with more radical and fundamental changes in the lives of women, which is related to a distribution of power and equal representation in religious structures and modern spirituality, but also based on a level of deep knowledge of myself. And today I know that spirituality leads us to ask ourselves questions about the meaning and purpose of life, and doesn't have to be limited to any particular type of beliefs or practices, or to any patriarchal structures or institutions. In this sense, I would like to share with you a transcendental, personal episode that has marked the rest of my life. From 2000 till 2007, I was involved in a project in Madrid with a Western spiritual teacher, a man who had a lot of knowledge and spiritual wisdom. The whole experience ended fatal. I felt like coming out of a sect, of a cult, and his organization was really a cult, but disguised as a pharmaceutical company. I learned what a spiritual abuse of power was through a bullying experience. I felt abused, cheated, humiliated, crushed, pressured, and punished by him and all the group that was supporting him. In the end, I broke off the relationship with him in 2007, thank goodness. And with all the project, the professional project, I was involved with him. And it was one of the most painful stages of my life. I even had to undergo surgery in the hospital. This was the first and last time of my life. I returned to Valencia, my city, to start from scratch in my professional life again. And before starting to work, I took a 3-month sabbatical to heal myself because emotionally I was totally destroyed. And I went to a several-day retreat, silent retreat on my own in the mountains to heal my heart and my identity. I felt completely destroyed, and it was there in the retreat, alone in nature, that I discovered self-compassion. I spent several days crying and broken with pain and writing a lot and letting all my suffering just going out, opening myself to it completely. And after a few days of catharsis, an immense love arose deep within me for myself. And I found respect, sweetness, tenderness, and incredible strength, and the possibility of starting over in my life. I found the inner teacher, the inner spiritual authority. This inner teacher opened the force of my heart, and I felt totally blessed, regenerated, and with a feeling that there was something deep inside of me that no one could take or snatch me. And the essence of my being was intact. This understanding revolutionized my life and made me much stronger and more resilient. There are no words to describe this natural process that occurred there. I think it happened because I made room for all my pain with courage, and I allowed everything to happen. And I discovered that my Dark Master, this man, had a lot of wisdom indeed, but he lacked the main wisdom, the wisdom of love and compassion. And then I promised myself never again to have any external teacher who was not a teacher of love and compassion in first place, but mainly trusting in my inner spiritual authority in first term. So this is my proposal today for you all. I think we must think for ourselves with a critical conscience and challenge any trend of religious fundamentalism and denounce all forms of abuse, and particularly power abuse in communities of faith, and demand support and compensation for those affected, and thus change the patriarchal structure of our relationships in a spiritual religions, spiritual institutions, modern spirituality. This is based on the recognition that women have a spiritual and religious authority in all spheres of life. And spirituality is important in our lives. A spirituality diverse in its origin and expression, and connected to our way of experiencing life as women. That's why we want to explore and share spiritual interests and needs, as well as support each other in the development of self-awareness and reflection, and encourage women of traditional religions to use what is useful to them and abandon what is oppressive. And demand from political and educational institutions, churches, and the media a change in the structures that make women visible and integrate them into decision-making processes. So today, we can celebrate being women, stop apologizing and people pleasing. We are a spiritual woman with our own inner authority, our own inner voice, and that's wonderful. So from there, I would like to suggest you a practice that I just created for you today out of the experience, the personal experience that I shared with you all, that is called connecting with your inner voice, connecting with your inner authority. So now I'm going to invite you to just get into the meditation. And this meditation will give you the space to connect with your inner voice.
Hey babe, happy anniversary. Hi. I got you a present.
Oh, no way.
You're gonna love it.
Is this what I wanted?
I said that this meditation will give you the space to connect with your inner voice so you can deepen your intimacy with her and continue to cultivate a trust in her, and therefore a trust in yourself, a trust in the voice who will always speak your truth with love. And I invite you now to relax into a position that's comfortable for you. Allowing your body to adjust as needed, and focus your attention on your breathing. Taking in the message that I just shared with you. connecting with your inner voice, connecting with your inner authority. Imagining now that every out breath settles you deeper into your position and slows you down. Expanding your breathing and slowing down your body naturally. This is a practice of discovering your inner master, your inner voice, of simply sitting with your true self in the present moment. Sitting here with your true self, so the spaciousness where your inner voice lives can be revealed. There is nothing for you to do. Nothing for you to seek out. It is all here within you in this moment. So just breathe. Just be. Just listen. Perhaps your mind is trying to solve a problem or trying to make sure this meditation works. Longing to feel connected to yourself. That's normal. As you notice any thoughts or emotions arise, just notice them and allow them to pass. bringing yourself back to your heart. And start offering these sentences to you. May I feel worthy. May I feel enough. May I be my own spiritual authority. These sentences can be the doorway to your inner voice, this present moment, this sacred feminine silence. May I feel worthy. May I feel enough. May I be my own spiritual authority. May I. Be there and listen. Listen for a bit to the wise woman that dives in you. She's always speaking to you. Directing you on where to go, what decisions to make, and how to navigate through your life. She's always speaking to you. Right here, you have an unlimited source of strength, trust, and courage. Open yourself to this possibility. Maybe you can start feeling this power in your body. Reminding you of what you need. Inspiring you guiding you. Even creating the most beautiful dreams of what's possible for you. She's always speaking to you. Sometimes she whispers. Sometimes she screams. But always she's speaking to you. Right there in the center of your heart is your inner voice. She represents your true self. Free from expectations, free from fear. This voice is your own spiritual voice, your own authority, your intuitive wisdom, your guide, empowering you. She is your guiding light. So if there's guidance you are seeking, decisions you are pondering, emotions you are managing, imagine them being released from you every time you ask to your inner voice. Anytime you feel lost, you can ask to your inner voice, what do I need? What do I really need? What do I need? What do I really need? And just allow yourself to be here right now. Listening to your inner voice, your inner spiritual authority. You may even also not just listening words, but maybe feeling energy, feeling power and strength, perhaps visualizing an image that represents your inner spiritual authority. Allow yourself to be creative. Allow your brain to find the easiest way to connect with the goddess that lies within you. Tapping into your true self. With no agenda, no expectations, no attachment to the outcomes. Yes, deep, empowering presence. Just deep, empowering presence. This is your home. This is you. Be here and connect to your inner voice. Everything you could possibly want is already here for you, inside of you. All you have to do is be here and listen. She's always here to guide you with never-ending love, strength, and wisdom. Let this love warm and permeate you from your heart center, filling the rest of your body. May all we feel worthy. May all women feel enough. May all women be their spiritual authority. May all we feel worthy. May all women feel enough. May all women be their spiritual authority. True joy begins here. And when you are ready, take a few more deep, mindful, compassionate breaths. Then softly open your eyes and sit for a few moments to acknowledge the unique experience you had during this meditation.
Thank you so much, Marta. That was so beautiful. Thank you.
A deep vow to all of you, to all the inner masters that are there.
That was beautiful. Wow. Thank you so much to Marta for this spectacular session. And we're coming to a close. So I'd like to share a poem with you as we come to a gentle close of this beautiful women's retreat. I'd like to share excerpts with you from the wonderful poet Maya Angelou. These are excerpts from her poem, The Phenomenal Woman. Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model's size. But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say, it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's me. I walk into a room just as cool as you please. Just as cool as you please of honeybees. It's in the fire in my eyes, in the flash of my teeth, the swing in my waist, and the joy in my feet. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's me. Now you understand just why my head's not bowed. I don't shout or jump about or have to talk real loud. When you see me passing, it ought to make you proud. I say, it's in the clicking of my heels, the bend of my hair, the palm of my hand, the need of my care, because I'm a woman, phenomenally. So I hope you've all enjoyed our wonderful silent retreat as we celebrate International Women's Day. March is also International Women's Month. So what I say is let us celebrate the entire month. Take a moment and celebrate you. Take a moment to do it now and throughout the month, throughout the year, throughout your lives. You know, we heard so many great ways of celebrating ourselves, empowering our voices. Notice what really resonates with you. We started our retreat today with Kristin Neff. She led a practice on the fierce friend and went into detail about how we can tap into our tender and fierce self-compassion as we empower our voices, not only for ourselves, but our community and the world at large. She encouraged us to accept the mess that we may be compassionately. And then we were joined by Natalie Bell. Natalie started us with a lovely movement practice, helping us to really connect with our energy and get into our body, teaching us how to really embody and resonate with this physical form, as well as setting boundaries with our energy. She then led us into a practice of tender and fierce breathing and phrases to energize, empower, protect, motivate. And then we finished our retreat today with the lovely Marta Alonso, who led a practice on our inner voice. Marta spoke about spirituality and finding our own inner healer and guide. She introduced us to ecofeminism. She encouraged us to empower ourselves, find and assert our inner voice, letting it guide us, letting us get in touch with our inner wisdom and spirituality, freeing ourselves from inner fear. So I'd like to ask you, what really resonated for you during this retreat? Maybe even put it into the chat box. What resonated with you? What would you like to take back into your day-to-day life? Maybe there was one particular comment or teaching. Maybe there were several things strung together like a pearl necklace. I'd love to hear from all of you. And we're not going to open up audio, but we will continue doing this in chat since it's a silent retreat. So Lisa says, Marta's concept of the inner authority. Yeah. Davika says, compassionate mess, breathing with arms, honoring my true self. Patty says, I am the spiritual authority. Yeah. Maria says, strong back, soft front, root in yourself, being my own authority. Yeah. So many different ways that we resonate with these practices. And you know what I would like to say is that these practices are also recorded and will be on YouTube. Go back and listen. Listen to them because you may hear something else. You may resonate in a different way depending on the day and how it's going for you. Roseanne says, thank you so much for such a special and sacred sharing. May yin and yang energy fill the hearts of all women, all men, all beings. These are the divine energies with which we create the moments of our lives. May they be beautiful ones. Yeah. So what I would also like to say is that, if these practices resonate, I invite you to attend our free meditation sessions. If you are not already part of it, you can join CMSC Circles of Practice public offering. We have 3 daily meditations for free that you can sign up for. And I'm going to put it in the chat box how you can sign up for this. The other thing I want to mention is that, as we know, there is so much suffering and heartache happening in the world right now. And we hear that, we feel it, it resonates within us, whether we are women, men, however we see ourselves. So next Saturday, March 12th at 7 a.m. Pacific, we're going to have a global prayer for peace and compassion. It'll be an hour-long prayer, and you can use the same registration to join us. And we really invite everybody, regardless of gender, regardless of identity, to come together so we can sit and send off peace and compassion into the world. So for now, I'd like to once again thank you all. Thank you to our wonderful speakers today. Thank you to our wonderful participants. You bring such a great quality to each practice. So as we end, I'd like to invite you, if you'd like to unmute and maybe say goodbye in your language, the language of your origin, whatever your mother tongue is, because we've got people from so many places around the world. Unmute and say goodbye in your language, please.
До свидания.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao. Bye. Bye.
Adiós a todas.